Hello and welcome, my friends. This is Brian, the Speaker for the Dead, coming to you today with a new video. Now, I just watched a video from Doomcock about Star Trek. And I wanted to comment on this because, as you guys know, I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I mean, seriously, Star Trek fan. Okay, there's in my life priorities. It's like this: God, my faith, my family, and Star Trek. Okay, Star Trek might not be quite up there that level, but it's close. Okay, and the reason for that is Star Trek came out in 1966, September 1966. Now I was born in 1974, so by the time I was born and old enough, Star Trek was in syndication. So it had been around for about 10 years by the time I was born and got into it. My brothers loved it. I hated it at first, and then I started watching it every day because it came on after school every day after Tom and Jerry and cool cartoons of that era that we don't have any more. But I'm not going to talk about that because it's just depressing that kids nowadays have to garbage to watch it after school. Anyway, that's it's a Gen X thing coming out. But I loved Star Trek because it was a hopeful vision of the future. It was fun. It was entertaining. It was amazing. It tied into my value system. And let me, okay, for those of you who don't know, I'm LDS, Mormon, if you're confused by that. To member of the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints. And we get told that we're not Christians all the time, but we are. And so to all you people who think that we're not. But here's the deal. Star Trek taught the same values that I was taught. They taught Judeo-Christian values. Now, how do you, Brian, whatever, it was Star Trek. They did not. I just recently went back and watched the old Star Trek series, the original. And I was amazed. I mean, and I knew this in the back of my mind, but I was amazed at how many times they literally quote scripture on that show, where they actually say, "Oh, in Psalms it says blah 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 blah," whatever it was that applied to the mission that they were on. They had an episode where they literally had the Constitution of the United States and talked about we the people to form a more perfect union. I mean, it's just, I mean, I always knew that was in Star Trek, but I didn't realize how in depth it was and how deep those values were ingrained in that show, and the lessons that it taught. And that's why I say it's up there in, because in the 70s, the 60s, 70s, and 80s, it was a very different time, okay, than the time we live in now. And I feel bad. Legitimately, I feel bad for my kids and all the generations that have come after, that they didn't get to grow up in that time. Yeah, there was things, but in my opinion, it was one of the best times in American history to grow up. You had just enough technology to make everything kind of fun and cool, but it wasn't so invasive and pervasive throughout our lives that it took over everything else. That we still saw technology as a tool, as a thing to be used to better mankind, instead of something that we would literally replace other human beings and interhuman contact with. Star Trek had a very healthy view of technology and how it was supposed to work in our lives, that it was supposed to be a helper, not a detraction. It wasn't supposed to take over our lives. It was supposed to help us in our lives. And I miss that view of technology. Anyway, so Doomcock's video talked about the new Star Trek because, thank goodness, praise the Lord, Kurtzman and his contract and his licensing of Star Trek is done. It's over. Finished. So the dark ages of Star Trek, the depravity, the evil, the wickedness, the foul debauchery, and just satanic influences in Star Trek are gone. Okay, we're gonna get, I think, 2 more seasons of Strange New Crap. I mean, Strange New Worlds. Um, but you know what? They're not filming anymore, and that's like, so nobody's going to care about that stuff. And once it's gone, it's gone. Nobody talks about it now anyway, other than to make fun of it. What a legacy, Kurtzman. Anyway, I'm excited and get scared to death because new Star Trek is coming. They announced that at San Diego Comic-Con, that we are going to get a new Star Trek movie and that they are going to start making new Star Trek again. Here's the thing I'm scared about. Apparently, they are going to completely reboot Star Trek. Now, depending on how they mean that, and I wasn't there, I didn't hear the panels, so I don't have all the details for what the plan is and how they're going to do that. So, yeah, I don't know whether that's going to end up being a great thing or just the worst thing ever. But here's the deal. This can be great. Now, I was just talking to my brothers the other day. We Marco Polo back and forth, which is a little video. Anyway, we were talking, and I told them I am so sick of getting on here and making videos about crappy stuff, being upset, being angry, being negative, talking about what I don't want to see and how much I'm going to hate this. And the Odyssey ruined this, and the Lord of the Rings is just, the Rings of Power is just sucking my soul dry. I really am tired. I am really tired of talking about stuff like that. I like being happy. I like going to watch movies. I love that kind of stuff. I have like I said, Star Trek and entertainment has been a huge part of my life. When my family gets together on Sunday afternoons, me, my wife, and my children, we literally sit there and quote movies at each other. Hey, where did this come from? Oh yeah, no, that was Forrest Gump. Or oh no, that was Dark Crystal. That was a creepy movie, Dad. Yeah, I know. Wasn't it great? Yeah, it was great. We do that all the time. Okay? Seriously. We love entertainment in my house. It is a big part of us. And so to be the guy that has to constantly come and be like, they're making this, and I'm gonna hate it. And it gets old. It gets so old. But here's my fears. This could be great. This could be good news. This could be a fresh start in a great direction with an old franchise. But it could be just Antichrist levels of entertainment slop. And we just don't know. And we won't know till it comes out. We've got a couple of years to wait before we actually see what these guys have done. But I have no idea whether these guys are Star Trek fans, that they actually understand what it is that they're making, or if they think, well, this is going to be my thing now, and I don't care about Gene who? Gene Roddenberry, he sounds old. Let's just do something new and different. I feel kind of like the dad on Croods. Don't touch it. It's new. Which was Nicolas Cage, and I love Nicolas Cage. But seriously, please, for the love of Pete, can you make Star Trek again? Can you actually make something that has Judeo-Christian values, that are fundamental, solid, decent values, a value system based in something more than I felt like doing it, which is what we have today in our common culture. I would not mind if they went back and actually started over and remade Star Trek from Kirk's era, because as we know, it didn't follow the right timeline. Khan was supposed to have lifted off after the Third World War in 1996. Well, we know that didn't happen. So I think you could go back, rewrite those stories from a more effective timeline, tell the same stories just in new and different ways with better sets, better this, better that, take everything that was great from that era and better. Make it better. Make it come alive. Recreate that magic, except make it 100 times better. And you would get everybody coming back. You'd have new fans, old fans, dead fans. Like, seriously, the Democrats would dig people up because, hey, they let them vote. Come watch Star Trek and boost the numbers for us, huh? Anyway, I don't. That's a political thing, and I apologize. Laura Powell's be the starting pickings down there in New Guinea, amen. But seriously, I want this to be good. I want this to be successful, but I want it to be Star Trek. And if it isn't Star Trek, don't call it Star Trek. Okay? Just sell Star Trek off to somebody who wants to make Star Trek. How hard is that? If you just want to use Star Trek or the name Star Trek as window dressing for your shitty idea, no. Nobody wants that. They want Star Trek. Call it something else and go do something else. Stop bastardizing other people's stuff. That's a lesson I learned when I was a kid. Don't break other people's stuff. Don't ruin other people's things. But nobody seems to have taught anybody anything today. All of these little up and coming movie creators, like nobody ever taught them. Have respect, be decent, be honest, be moral. These are called the 10 Commandments. Try and live them. And that's what we had in the old Star Trek, even Next Gen, which the scripture quoting and everything went down, but there was a solid moral foundation through all of the Star Treks up into Enterprise. And then after that, wow, things went wrong. And anyway, that's my take on this. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Are you excited for this? And are you like me? The only way I want this is if it's actually Star Trek. If you're going to make new Star Trek with new people, fine. Just make sure it's actually Star Trek, or just don't. Because you get one shot. You get one shot with me. I will try something every time to try and give it a chance. But the second you go off on, well, this is my transgender crewmate who used to be a Xantolian but didn't like being a Xantolian, and so she put human boobs on her. Now she's human. If you're gonna do that kind of crap, just no. Just no. Anyway, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I appreciate you being here, and we will talk to you guys next time. Bye now.